All right, I'm here with Scott Monty. And Scott, what is your title at Ford?
Well, my official title is Global Digital and Multimedia Communications Manager. What that effectively means is I'm head of social media.
Cool. And so you just got off the stage. You were giving actually, what I thought was a very cool presentation about what Ford is doing in the whole area of social media. So do you just sort of sum that up? I know we had to spend about 40 minutes doing that, but
Um, well, let me give you the overview for what our social media strategy is, and
sure.
then tell you a little bit about the talk. At Ford, we are we're trying to humanize the brand. Okay, we are trying to take the blue oval and break it down to the faces of Ford and allow people to connect with other people at the organization, because studies have shown that people trust people like themselves the most. And we can show them that there are people like themselves working for the company, who they can relate to, who they can identify with. Um, that's a step in the right direction. In addition, we're actually trying to allow people to connect with each other as they talk about experiences with our products or their perceptions. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is to become one of the world's leading social brands. Now, one of the ways that we've allowed that to happen, that we just talked about, is by setting our content free, not being afraid to give up control, and to allow people to engage with our content in a variety of ways as it makes sense for them. And the notion that if you love something, set it free. If it loves you, it will come back.
Right.
And that's what we've seen. We give people the content, and the content that they create comes back to us, and we can actually see how people interact with it, how they respond to it, and we can keep providing more.
So one thing that I thought is fascinating, you and I have been talking about, is how did this actually come to be? One doesn't normally associate Ford with, oh, those guys are probably at the forefront of social media. It makes sense that they would hire somebody. Can you tell me how the process went that they picked you and how they even knew they needed the job like this?
Well, Ford has been associated with innovation from the very earliest days. I mean, that's what Henry Ford did. He was an innovator. He took an idea, and just for the record, innovation is not these big leaps in, a massive invention. Traditionally, innovation is tweaks on an existing platform that builds value over time. And what Henry Ford did is he took the assembly line. He didn't invent the assembly line. He took the cotton gin, essentially assembly line concept, and he applied it to automobiles. And we've continued to innovate as a company over time. Now, American auto companies aren't necessarily known for or branded as innovators, but if you stop to actually take a look at what's being done, it's true. And what we're doing in communications is the same thing. And somebody within the organization at a leadership level recognized that Ford was not where it needed to be in terms of digital communications, and needed to be among the best in the field within 5 years. And that was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we've got 3 years to go. I'd argue that we're pretty well along the way there already, but there's going to be constant ways that we're kicking the tires and looking at how we're doing business and how we can improve it. And being interactive online, not only providing content out to people, but engaging with them in dialogue, hearing back from them, is going to continue to inform the process and help us improve.
And why Scott Monty? What were they looking for, or how did they find you?
Wow. Well, I was doing consulting in the social media space, strategic consulting with large brands, American Airlines, Coca-Cola.
Okay.
And I'd been writing a blog about social media and its applications to business, and I guess Ford took notice of that and wanted someone who probably had some corporate blood flowing through his veins, but could also be a visionary for where the company needed to go. So I guess that's why they chose me.
Very nice. And this last question, what should we be looking for over the next 6 months? Is there anything particularly you're launching, or a specific effort, or
Yeah, a couple of
site,
things that are significant. One is the Fiesta movement, which you'll find at fiestamovement.com. We are putting 100 digital influencers in 100 Ford Fiestas, which is going to be our global platform car that will launch in the States in a year. They're going to be creating photos and videos and text and microblogs, and we're going to aggregate that, curate the content, aggregate it, and share it out with the rest of the world, and allow them to share it out on their own platforms as well, as an unfiltered look at our products, because we're so confident in the great products that we have to share. We're going to be learning from them. We're going to be taking into account their perceptions and perspectives as we think about how we roll the car out in North America in 2010. The second thing is we're going to be evolving the site, thefordstory.com. It's going to be our social media hub. And through that site, you're not only going to see our content, you're going to see this third-party content like the Fiesta Movement and other programs. And we'll have an aggregated Twitter page where all of our accounts are that you can find. We'll have a blogging feature. We'll have comments enabled. It'll really be more of a
Nice.
community than it is right now.
Excellent. Well, Scott Monty, thank you so much. And where do we follow you on Twitter?
You can follow me at Scott Monty, or you can read the social media marketing blog at scottmonty.com.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
You bet.